So I tried to do this yesterday, but I just wasn't feeling it. So today we're gonna be doing we're gonna be making a game. Because why the fuck not? I did this yesterday, so I know exactly what I'm making. We're gonna be making a multiplayer kart racing game in Unity. So this is gonna go up on YouTube as well. If you've got any questions, let us know. It'll probably go up on YouTube in parts. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Kart for stream, I guess. There we go. We'll create that. So let me go over Unity real quick. So when you install Unity, you get this thing called the Unity Hub. This is where you manage all your Unity instances. As you can see, I've got one. If you want to install Unity, just click Add. Select what version of Unity you want, and go from there. It's as simple as that. So once one's installed, what you can then do is go over to any of these categories where you can learn and stuff, or you can just create a new project here. And I'm basically just showing you what I just did really quickly. So you got a load of different categories. Just stick to 2D and 3D for now, because that is the most simple ones you can do. Right. Now Unity's loading up. It will take a while. I'm actually going to close this because I don't need it. So it will tell you there's probably an update. Just ignore it. So when you open Unity, it will look something like this. This is sort of the default view. No, I don't like this. So what I do is I go up here to where it says default, and I've actually got a custom preset which I have. It's based on the 2x3 preset, but I like to just drag hierarchy up top and move this slightly down, and that's pretty much what I've got. If I go to this, you can see that's what I have. This is how I like working in Unity. It's personal preference. So here's the editor. You got all the stuff at the top. We'll go through all this in just a second. But let's start off with the scene view. Now, this is what your scene... well, basically, this is what everything is in your scene. So if I were to make a cube, you can see it's in the scene view. I can move it around. Da, 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 da. I'll go over how you create stuff in just a second. But yeah, we now have a cube in our scene. To move around our scene, you can use the W, A, S, and D keys while holding the right mouse button. To select stuff, you just click it, or if you drag, you can select multiple things. Middle mouse pans around. Scroll wheel is zooming in and out. Holding Q and E will let you go up and down. And if you do all this while holding Shift, you go faster. And you can change how fast you go using the scroll wheel while holding Shift. So I can go really small amounts, or I can go hyper speed, basically. Good exercise to navigate around, like trying to find your way around the scene view, is to go off in a direction really, really far and try and get back to your original starting point. I'm just going to cheat here and go back anyway. That's pretty much all the controls you need to know. Let's go over more about scene view. So up here you can see all the different sort of rendering modes which you can use. So you can do wireframe, shaded wireframe. This isn't really needed for anything, so it's safe to skip over. The more important buttons here. This one pops you into 2D view, and you can go back out to 3D. It's useful if you're making 2D games in Unity, because you also can make 2D experiences as well. Also good for like doing flat elements like menus and stuff which isn't 3D. This light bulb will toggle the lighting. So right now we have this little sun. This is a light, and if I look up, oh god, I don't know how I got upside down, but as you can see, there's the sun. If I click this little light bulb, as you can see, there's just no sun anywhere. It puts it up here. It's just a basic, just generic light. It's just used for just testing and stuff. Audio on and off, pretty self-explanatory. This is your effects panel, so if you have any like added effects, You can turn it on and off here. So, for example, it turns off the skybox. This is to call any hidden objects. So if you hide any objects, you can press that button to show them again. I don't have any hidden objects at the moment, so it says 0. And this is the visibility of the grid. So as you can see, I've just turned off the grid. You can also set the grid axes, so I can have it on the x-axis or the z-axis. It's safe to keep it on the y-axis, and also put your opacity to whatever you want. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. This next button shows the component editor. We won't be using that, so you don't need to worry about that. And finally, this is the camera controls. So the camera that we've been moving around, this is where you can fine control it. So you can change field of view, occlusion culling, speed. So you can actually change the speed to, I don't know, like 50. And then if I go like this, you can see that I'm going really, really fast now. I like to keep this at like 3. Easing is basically how it like stops like that. If I turn it off, it just stops. I don't know how else to explain it. Acceleration, basically, will it start to slowly go up to its intended speed, or will it just go to its speed? So I've got mine at 3 right at the minute. If I had it on, it would slowly ramp up. But if it's off, it will just go straight to the 3 speed. Clipping is basically if you're in objects, so it will just sort of just clip into it like that. You can change how far away you need to be in order for clipping to occur. So if I set this to, I don't know, 1, you can see that it disappears. But if I set the near value to 0.1, you can see I can get right up close to it. In fact, inside it before it goes away. That's pretty much all the camera settings. Gizmos basically tell you like little icons. So for the stuff that you can't see, like lights and cameras, basically turning this on will let you see those icons. What I like to do is I turn off 3D icons just because I just like it. It also makes all the icons the same size as well. Sort of like uniforms all of it. So that's pretty much all sort of the scene view controls. Hopefully I didn't go over them too much or like confuse you. There's also a search bar, so if you want to search for a camera, you can see it will highlight it. If you want to search for a cube, it will highlight it. So if you can't find anything in your scene, then that's something that you can do. These are your coordinate axes, so if you click one of these, you can switch between them. If you click this cube, you'll go into isometric mode, and you can toggle that on and off if you want to. And then, of course, there's this little lock, which basically will lock your thing in place. It's exactly the same as holding the middle mouse button. So that is how you navigate the scene. We're going to go on to the game view. So the game view is what this camera sees here. So you can actually see a little camera preview here. Displays, you can have up to 8 displays. So if you wanted to, I don't know, display a game on multiple monitors, you can do that. It's not really used for what we're going to be using, so it's safe to ignore it. This is the aspect ratio and resolution of this game view. You can set it to whatever you want. So I like to have it at 1080p. You can add a custom resolution here and then just name it whatever you want. Make sure you click fixed resolution. You also have aspect ratios like 16.9, 16.10. So it's good if you're like doing it for like making a game for multiple sort of screen sizes. When you like switch it, it will like update all the UI and all the camera accordingly. Maximize on play. Basically, when you go to play your game in the editor by hitting this play button, this game view will maximize. Pretty cool. Mute audio, self-explanatory. Stats, also self-explanatory, basically tells you about the game. And gizmos is basically the same as the gizmos up here. There are these little drop-down options, but these are just like ways to organize the tabs. Everything in Unity is tab-based, as you can see. So the inspector has a tab, hierarchy, scene, game. But there's one thing for the game thing. One of the options is warn if no cameras are rendering. It's basically this. It's safe to keep on. just in case you do accidentally forget a camera. Next up is the hierarchy. The hierarchy is basically everything in your scene. So if you want to add something to the hierarchy, for example, a cube, which I added earlier on, what you want to do, click the little plus button, 3D object, cube. You can add all sorts of objects, for example, text, another camera, video player, sound, lights, effects. Go wild, basically. You can also add objects up here by clicking on game object, and then the same menu is over here. Clicking on something in the hierarchy will highlight it in the scene view, and you can do whatever you want with it. That's pretty much it for the scene view. There's this thing where you can hide objects as well, which is, I don't know why you'd want to do that. But if you did want to hide something, there you go. Next up is the project window. This is where everything lives in your game. So for example, any scenes or any assets that you have. We don't have any at the minute. All we have is this sample scene, which is what we're in now. If we wanted to make a new asset, we can click this button and then we can add a folder or a scene or a material. We'll go over all these later on. But this is basically your project folder. And if I right click, you can actually open this project folder up in a normal Explorer window. Finally is the inspector. This is where you can basically edit anything. So for example, if I click on this cube, you can see I can edit the transform. All these are components. You can add new components down here. So for example, a cube comes with the transform component, which allows us to basically move it around. So if I wanted to move this 1 on the x-axis, you can see that it's moved itself over by 1. You also use the arrows in the scene view to adjust this along all the cardinal axes, so X, Y, and Z. I'm just going to put these back to 0. We've also got rotation as well. And notice that when I'm rotating it, it's also rotating in the game view because obviously the camera is pointing at it. And you also have scale, so basically how big you want it. And just remember that it does scale on both sides. We're not going to go over mesh renderers and box colliders for now, but we will do later on. I'm just going to quickly talk about lighting. So if I click on the directional light in the scene view, or clicking on the thing, you can see that we have a transform component for that. We also have a transform component for a camera as well. But I'm just going to quickly show you. Oh god, I've went underneath the world there. So as you can see, the sun is up here. If I want to move the directional light, I can do so, and as you can see, the sun moves. I just wanted to show you that. And I don't know if you're noticing, but depending on where the sun is pointing, it will update the lighting on the cube in real time.